When is Project Blue Skies going to be complete, Darian? You knew that one was
Uh,
coming. You knew it was coming today.
yeah, yeah.
So
So.
it's been canceled.
What's going on, Clash Bashers? Rocky here today, and today we're going to be talking about Operation Blue Skies. Has it actually been canceled? When is it coming out? Because we haven't heard anything about it, and the update comes out, well, tomorrow. Where the heck is Operation Blue Skies? We did an interview with Darian on the Springtrap Show, which is our little talk show that we do over on Echo Gaming's channel, and it was a really good interview, but there was one little area that I wanted to focus on for today's video, and that is the cloud fix. And let's go ahead, hop right into it, talk about what we heard with Darian, and did we actually get a little bit of a hint what the solution for the cloud fix will be, because I thought this conversation was pretty good, and I thought there was a little bit, I won't say leak, but kind of a lead on of what the fix might actually be for the clouds. So let's go ahead and get into this portion of the interview. Just a warning, Echo's cam was on screen. I recorded this from Discord, and also at the beginning, you'll kind of see a little bit of fidgeting around as I adjust the screen to make it fit properly.
From Burtis21, he wants to break the seal. He's going to be asking about the clouds. We got them a little bit darker. When is Project Blue Skies going to be complete, Darian? You knew that one was coming. You knew
sorry
it was
for the
coming.
clickbait, also, guys. They accused me of clickbaiting. I had to do it, you know. You'll see. You'll see.
It's been canceled. No, I'm kidding.
Bash is going to clickbait that in tomorrow's video.
I know. It's like,
Absolutely. Echo Judo. I got you. Video made.
Dark clouds wasn't good enough. I thought that was the solution right there. You just wanted it darker so it's just easy on the eyes.
I tried to convince Burtis. I said, Burtis, look, we got your fix, bud. When you're up late at night clouding, it's not going to be so hard on your eyes.
Yeah.
So obviously, Darian hints at the dark cloud fix. If you don't know, the clouds, instead of like that bright white screen, there's going to be a darker screen, so it won't actually be as hard on your eyes. That's a true thing that's coming. But Darian joked that the Operation Blue Skies has been canceled, but obviously that is not the case. That was, you know, obviously what we used to clickbait here. Thanks, Judo and Echo. I'm blaming them for this one, guys. If you guys are mad about clickbait, Judo and Echo, go talk to them. No, I'm just kidding. It's you know, it's
there you
whatever.
go. It was like a 5-minute fix. It was a lot longer than that, actually. For the dark clouds, that was actually a kind of a perfect convergence of opportunity.
So we'll just kind of like listen along, chime in, comment here,
you know, the cloud
as
solution,
Darian goes.
You know, I think it was like about mid to late last year. We had originally thought we could do it first quarter of 2019. But once we started getting closer towards the War League release, realized that, you know, we're going to need additional time on it. So that's when we started talking about first half of 2019.
So that's what really confused me, because the last time we had Darian on, he said first quarter 2019, Operation Blue Skies is coming. I was like, sweet, let's do this. That's awesome. And then first quarter's pretty much up here. We got our first update coming. No Operation Blue Skies. So as he kind of mentions there, the plan is first half of the year, and I'm pretty sure he's going to elaborate a little bit on that as we keep going here.
And keep in mind that even though the clouds are one of the most vocalized issues for higher end players, the number of players that it affects is probably under 1%. Like if even that. That's not to say it's a minor problem. It is a major problem, and it's one that's been needing addressing. But we also want to make sure that when we do implement the solution to the clouds, that it provides incentive for people who've never climbed that high to want to climb that high, because trophy pushers are of a different mentality.
Real quick before he keeps going here, this is something I've talked about before. I don't know about ever in a video, but I talk about this on stream a lot. There's no reason for people to want to push. They have to give them a reason to go up there, whether I kind of mentioned like seasonally, monthly, like gem rewards, like if you finish above 5,000 you get 50 gems or something to give people a reason to go up there. The achievements only go up to champs. We need new achievements. We need a reason for people to push, and that's kind of what he's talking about here in this little segment.
And war players, they have different mentality needs when they're playing the game. They look for different types of challenges. So trying to keep that in mind as we're working on the solution Sorry, my screen keeps blacking out because of stupid screensaver mode. Brand new computer. I forgot to disable the monitor turn off. So we want to make sure that there's incentive for players to want to, who have never climbed that high, that when we implement this solution, that they see it as, they don't see it as something like, oh, that's just an elitist 1% top solution problem. We wanted them to see it as like, hey, now there's this incentive for me to want to prove how good I am in this mode, and now there's an avenue to do it where I don't have to worry about the same issues that people have been experiencing previously.
So that kind of goes along with what I'm saying is I feel like they're going to give us a reason to want to push the Legends League rather than just, hey, I want to spend a bunch of time pushing. There's going to actually be a reason coming, whether it be rewards, achievements, or I don't know. That was my thought initially, and I've said that in the past, is rewards or achievements need to be there for the Legends League.
With that in mind, we're still on track for first half of the year. Given that this is our first the battle or the season challenges are the first major update of this year. So I'm projecting that the Clouds update will probably be the next major update of the year.
So obviously we have the update coming out tomorrow, but we kind of get a little bit of a sneak peek on the next update where Darian says the cloud fix should be the next update. I don't want to directly say that that's going to be the next update because obviously things get pushed around and, if it doesn't work right, it'll get pushed back. But some promising news there from Darian. There's a lot of good stuff in this interview. I'm telling you, if you didn't watch it, go over to Echo's channel and watch the replay of the full 1 hour stream.
Realize
here goes me humble bragging about my push.
The pushing and like the clouds being an issue, but I don't think people realize part of the issue is when you get to a certain point, you can't hit so much lower because it'll be like a zero offer. There's no point. I was at 6,000, and if I saw anything under, I think it was 5,300, would have been less than a 6 offer, which is the minimum offer. So that's why you're not seeing it. So, and that's something I've always said is what you were kind of just talking about is there needs to be a reason for people to push up, in my opinion, because people aren't, it's time consuming as the system is. It's very time consuming to get up there and maintain it. And so people need a reason to do that, or it almost needs like a complete overhaul, in my opinion. I like this guy. He's got good thoughts, good ideas. I like this guy quite a bit.
And I think something that I've mentioned on your show previously is that we also want to make sure that it's not a contest of who can stay online the longest either. So, like, let's say, let's say, Echo, let's say, you're someone who is okay at attacking. And this is, I know you're a lot better. But for the sake of example, let's just say you're just okay at attacking. But you're capable of spending, let's say, 18, 19 hours online doing attack after attack after attack. Or let's say Judo is really good at attacking, but is only capable of doing like 6 hours a day. So we have to look at also, how do we make that fair that, when you get to that top tier, that it's not about just spending all that time online.
See, this kind of worries me a little bit. I mean, I agree with what he's saying. You have to commit a lot of time to it. But at the same time, that's almost what pushing has become in the game. And if they change it to like, oh, I spend 2 hours online and I get the same results as someone that spent 12 hours online, I don't know how I feel about that if that is the case of what does happen. I don't know. That one's got me a little bit, I don't know. I want to say uneasy, but I'm not sure about that process because, well, I guess it makes sense because we get a lot of people pushing and having people push for them or whatever might be going on in the push scene. And I guess it's really not because, I mean, I had to sleep. I got kids. I got family, I guess that makes sense, but it also makes me a little bit nervous about that part if they do implement something like that.
So we have to look at a system that, what number of attacks would be fair? Is it a matter of like how many attacks you can get in? And if that's the case, how do we make sure that there's enough bases for people to attack? And these are some of the things that we have to tackle. And we've got a good idea of how we want to tackle this and make sure that it's a fair system for everybody once you get to that certain trophy threshold. That the way the game functions when you get to that I'm going to say arbitrarily at 5,000 trophies, the way it functions, when you cross that threshold, like how you get matched against other players will have to change.
So a thought there, like to balance out the time thing, it almost like a thought that came to my head was maybe they could limit the number of attacks you can do from 5,000 up to, maybe 150, 200 attacks, and that would make it an even playing field. But that's also really risky because then people will just whale hunt. I don't know how I feel. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, the time issue, and British just donated and said there's got to be a better solution than sitting 3 hours in the clouds. And it really is frustrating because I'm someone that loves to push. I just did my push. I fell short of 6,400, but I did get to like 6,340. Humble brag. But when I do a push, I have to tell my wife, babe, I'm pushing this month. And she knows that means I'm going to have the iPad in front of me or around me for 14 to 18 hours a day because it's a commitment. I mean, I posted a picture and I did it on purpose because, I figured people would get a kick out of it, of me at dinner at a restaurant with my iPad in the background, cloud. This is said picture. Some of you guys really didn't like that, but I posted it kind of as a joke. I wasn't like sitting there on my iPad the whole time at dinner. It was literally off to the side, and people were like, "Oh my god, could you imagine this guy at dinner with his iPad out?" Meanwhile, there's people at the table next to me just, on their phone the whole time at dinner. I didn't even touch my iPad one time. Anyways, I don't need to defend myself for that. I did it. I knew what I was doing there. But that's the picture I was referring to right there. And that's what a lot of people do is, they're on their iPads, taking it with them. And it's just kind of ridiculous that you have to commit so much of your life to do that.
True.
And I mean,
really
there's
ridiculous.
Also, people accuse others of sharing accounts and all that stuff. It's just, if there was more of, it almost has to be like a PvP system, or there has to be a way to get people up there. I don't know. I'm opinionated on the clouds. After I said PvP system, that's not really what I meant. I meant more like a limited, kind of what I said earlier, like a limited attack system. I guess when I said PvP attack or PvP system, wasn't really necessarily what I meant because I don't really want that. But that's the way it came out.
It's not going to be a head-to-head PvP system.
Because then we would just get Builder Base 2.0.
The main village has always been asymmetric PvP. And that's kind of the heart of the game, and that's probably the way that'll remain. There was something that you touched upon, which was people just sitting there, waiting for a base to become available, and that also shows that, like to a certain extent, that cloud pushers are inherently risk takers, because they don't have the opportunity to click next. They have to go with what comes, what the next available base is, and there is inherently a certain thrill in that. Because you have to go with what troops you already have, regardless of what the base looks like.
So, I mean, Darian has a good point there. I mean, when you're pushing, you have a general army that you're comfortable with, you think is good, and that's one of my biggest pushing advices. Find an army that works for you. But at the same time, you have to hit whatever you get. When you're nexting and you're on Village Guard, and you're only seeing a few bases an hour, or even one base an hour, you gotta hit that, You can't just next through that and just hope you find something else. So you have to have an army that works on most bases.
So that's another part of that pusher mentality that's different from the war community, where with the war community, everything is very meticulously planned out down to the single, like where you deploy a troop, whereas with trophy pushing, what you see is what you get, and you've got to make do with what you have there. And so there is an inherent, a little bit more of a risk versus reward there.
Yeah. And someone, I think it was my comment section, mentioned is maybe there's too much shielding, which I agree.
I mean, this part of the interview is really, I think he kind of tips his hat a little bit here and kind of signals what might be coming. Really pay attention to this part of the interview, guys.
With the shielding process, because I mean, if I'm spending 14 to 18 hours a day in the clouds, like every Saturday, I made sure my one day was available because that's my family day. But I mean, has there been thoughts like maybe the Village Guard is too long, that extra extended Village Guard, the 2-day shields, maybe get rid of those? Because, I mean, that would make more bases available, because the last week of the season was absolutely horrible. I found like one base in 2 days and felt really bad,
We are looking at the shield system and the guard system and how that affects the shields, or how it affects the clouds, and what we can do. I hate using the word improve or change, But inherently, that's what's going to happen is.
So right there, he says that's what's going to happen. So a revamping of the shield system, the village guard system, that could be something that's coming to help fix the clouds, which I kind of agree with that. I mean, 16-hour shields, 14-hour shields, it's just too much when you get up there to 5,000. And yes, it'll make you take more attacks, but at the same time, it'll throw more bases into the pool, make more people available more often.
Because, if everybody's shields are up and nobody's available to attack, that's when you get clouds. So
makes it
we're looking at a system of, how do I say this without really giving anything away
yet? Shout out to Darian. If you guys don't know, Darian is the community manager. He does such a good job at talking to us in these interviews and having great conversations with us, and not showing or telling what's actually coming, but actually answering and giving great answers to our questions. So shout out to Darian. Does a great job on these interviews. I mean, I could never do what he does. It's crazy.
I would say just making sure that there are plenty of targets to attack. And I know that's something that I've said before, is because, and I know I'm being very vague and light on details.
You have to be.
Again,
that's cool.
Our current update isn't even out yet. But we are going to be talking about more details on the clouds once this update goes out. I can't give a time frame just yet, but the clouds is one of our biggest focuses for the next few months.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like,
that's
pretty much all hands on deck for this.
That was awesome insight, though. That was great to listen to.
So there you guys have it. Darian says they're aware, they're working on it. They're aware of the issues. They know it's going on and they're working on it. And we get a little bit of I don't know, I feel like the shield and guard system being revamped, I feel like that's something that might and probably will happen just based on that conversation. And you kind of get an insight to what they're thinking as far as the cloud system updates and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, kind of me recapping, reacting to the interview with Darian. If you guys want to check out that full interview, I'll link that down in the description to the full Springtrap show. Lots of great stuff in there. Darian is really good at these, like I said, really good at answering the questions, and there was a lot of stuff covered, especially considering with the season pass stuff. If you have questions about that, you want to go check that interview out. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. You guys have a great day. Keep on clash bashing.